Hi all. So in last class we have started our OOPS concept. So just quickly recap what we have done. So in last class what we have seen. So we are learning our object oriented programming. So we have to get all Java our object oriented principle under our Java programming language. So if our programming language support object and our object is created with the help of class, so we can achieve this feature as encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So we can achieve this feature. So if our programming is having object, so if we are creating object with the help of class, so we can support this feature. Our programming language can support this feature. So Java is a such kind of programming language that support all of the features. Java is a object-oriented programming language and Java support all OOPS feature, this object-oriented programming feature. So we can achieve encapsulation, we can achieve abstraction, we can achieve inheritance, we can achieve polymorphism. So this thing we will achieve. So we have to write the syntaxes for that, for achieving all the features. So Java is supporting very much. Other programming language can support this feature. Some programming language don't support all the feature, only some feature will be there. So as if now just we have to understand about the Java. So under the Java we are having class, we are having object, and Java support all the our OOPS feature. So we are learning all the OOPS feature. So first we have seen about our encapsulation. So encapsulation says we don't have to expose our variable data directly. Always our variable and method should be binded. We don't have expose directly. So always it should be binded. So if our variable is binded with some method, so we can control our variable. So while learning, it is fine. We are creating the variable and we are accessing and we are manipulating. But at application level, we have to provide security. We have to provide some validation over our data. So we have to use our memory, our object smartly. So we need encapsulation. We don't have to create unnecessary memory. So we have to apply some validation while creating the object, and our object value should be some validating, like uh, for example, we have seen our employee related object. So our employee number, employee name, employee salary. So we should have some limit for all the field, all the uh, attribute of the object. So we are having some limitation. So if we are creating the object and we don't have any limitation, so we will put anything. So always in application level we have to restrict it. So we have to control over our data. So we can control if we are having method. So under the method we will write some business logic. So for achieving the encapsulation, we defined our particularly getter setter method. So with the help of setter, we will set the value, set the data, and with the help of get, we can get the data. So we can control over our member variable with the help of our encapsulation concept. So oops, say we have to apply encapsulation. So syntactically, we have provide all the member variable private, and our we are having two methods, setter and getter. So for providing the our values, so we are having setter method, and for getting the value we are having getter method. So always you will see in your project level. So whenever we will create some object, some information. So always we will write our getter and setter. So at project level, we have to write getter and setter. So at project level, basically we use a lot of getter and setter method. So it is a our programming practice. Always under the our project level, we create our Pojo class. We create our Pojo class, plain old Java object, where we put information. So at information, we always create the Pojo class. So under the Pojo class, we have to maintain encapsulation. So for maintaining encapsulation, we always write some getter and setter. So we have to create a Pojo class. So usually Pojo class hold some information. So at application level, in currently we are having one tool. It's called Lombok. So we use this tool. We don't write multiple times in all the Pojo classes. We don't write a getter and setter. Instead of we use a one tool. Keep your mind. We use a Lombok one tool. With the help of Lombok, we just defined our field, our variable. We don't write our getter and setter. Our Lombok tool will handle our getter and setter part. We don't have to take care. So this is a tool. With the help of this tool, we can create a constructor. We can create our getter and setter lot of thing. So our code, we write the less code. We just write our necessary code only. So application level, lot of code will be reduced. So we are having some tool. So encapsulation means we have to control over the data. So our data member and method should be binded. After that, we have seen inheritance. We have seen our inheritance concept. So our under the inheritance. So why we use the inheritance in the our programming? So for the main purpose is reusability. So reusability of the code, we use our inheritance. So there is a some class. So we have to apply inheritance. If something is common for all the classes, so we write once and we can use a multiple times. So inheritance is a one way for our object collaboration, how two object will talk to each other. So I already told you, with the help of inheritance and with the help of Hayes relationship, so we can achieve our object collaboration. Object will be communicated. So inheritance means what? Our one class will be inherited in the other class. So we are having few terminology like our super class, or we can say parent class. We say our subclass or child class. So this is our terminology. So with the help of this terminology, we create the class and we reuse the class. So we are having few class. So we are having A class, we are having B class. So with the help of our extend keyword, we can apply inheritance. So we are having multiple type of inheritance: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchy level inheritance, multi-path inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. So we have seen all type of inheritance. So just we can use only one extendable class in the other class. So always you will see we can extend only one class. So inheritance will work. So we are having multiple inheritance. So we have seen single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multi-path inheritance, hierarchy inheritance, our multiple inheritance, and our hybrid inheritance. So this kind of inheritance there. So you will see where we are just extending only single class. So our inheritance will work. Otherwise, we will get some ambiguity, because in the Java they want to some simplification in the our programming. So in the Java don't allow our multiple inheritance in the class. So only one class will be inherited into another class. It could be single, it could be multi-level, it could, but our programming logic should be simple. So we can apply our inheritance. So let's understand the concept of the inheritance, what we have to see. So just first we have seen hierarchy, what is the allow, what is not allow. Then we have to understand our inheritance related concept. So I create one class and I will performing inheritance into the our another class. So let's understand. So we will apply inheritance. So we are writing one parent class, and we will write one child class. Understand carefully, because you will face this kind of question in the interview. So we are having parent class, we are having child class. So we have to perform inheritance. So first we will define one variable, and so we have already created simple classes in our earlier example. So I am just taking one our instance variable, and I am taking one method. So we will put our show and the method from our parent. So we are having this particularly class. So this is our feature. So this feature means whatever the our method and whatever the our particularly we can say our variable, which is a part of this class. So if we apply the inheritance, so this will be accessible in our child class if we are performing inheritance. So I am performing inheritance. So I have just extended our parent class, and in our parent I am taking another variable y20. So this is our print method under our child class. So what will we see? So we will create one object. So just write one test class. So under the test, so what we can do, please understand what I'm trying to say. So first, I will create our parent class object. So it is a simple class. Already we have created multiple object. We have created multiple classes by day one. So we are having our parent class and we are having our child class. So we can create the object. There is no issue. So you can see if we are having our parent class and we are having our child class. So I will access my parent class data. So X will be there. You can see. So similarly, we can call the method of our parent class. So method name will be show method. Show method will be there. So we can call our, we can access our data member and we can call our method. So we should not have any issue. Sorry, we are just calling. I am printing. Yeah. So we are calling the method. So we can access our data member. We can access our particularly method. So you will see this member variable and this method will be there. So whenever object will be creating of the parent class, so I create the diagram. Just you have to be understand. So we are having one parent class. So you will see one parent class under the our parent. We have defined one class, our parent class. So this is our parent class. This is our child class. And I have applied inheritance. So we can see we have applied inheritance. So this is our A class. So this is our parent class. This is our child class. So we can see the show method is there and print method is there, and our variable will be there. So our x variable will be there under this particularly class, and our show method is there under this class. And similarly, we are having y variable is there under this class. And print method is there under this class. So we will create the object of this particularly parent class. We are having object. So we are creating. We have created the object. Good. Then we are creating the object of our child class. So we can create the object of our child class. So this is our child class. We have created the object of our child class. So this is our parent class. This is our child class. So we are creating the object. This is our parent and child class. So what will be happening? Let's understand. So under the our parent class, if we are creating the object of our parent class, so this parent class object will be created. So our method will be there under our parent, under our child. So let's understand. So we are having this particularly x variable. This is our x variable inside the our particularly object. So value will be 10. So value will be 10, and inside that we are having logic of our show method. So we can write our show method. So this is our object. So under the object we are having variable, and we are having this particularly method. So one reference variable will be created. We called our parent. So you can create one reference variable. Our name will be parent. So it will point this particularly object. So this will point this particularly object. So under this reference variable, we can access our X data, and we can call our show method. So you can see. So under the our parent, when I will call, so I will access this X method, and sorry, X variable value is 5. Okay, we can put 10, and our show method. So we can see this is a show print over there. So this will be printed because we are accessing this object, and this reference variable only we can access this class data only. Keep your mind fundamental should be very strong. So we can access only parent class data, but we have apply inheritance under our child class. So under the child, you will see I will write sys out child. So x will be there. So we have apply inheritance. So all the parent property will be there under our child. Then show method, we can call show method as well. So under our child, we can call our show method. This show method will be there under the child. Similarly, our we are having child dot y. This variable will be there, and we can call our print method. So this particularly child method, this particularly child method, we are having our parent class property and method. Means what? Parent class property and behavior and data of our parent class. So child is having our parent class data and method we are having. So by diagrammatically we are trying to understand. So you will see under our diagram. So we will create our child class object. So one object will be created, but our parent class inherited by our child class. So object will be there like this. So this is our child class object. So under the our child class, under our child class, our parent class already there. So we are having this particularly value inside the our child class 20, and we are having a particularly variable name. So if you talk about the our reference variable, so child reference variable will be there. So this child reference will point this object. Understand carefully. So it will point this object. So because of this object, so this is my reference variable. It is a outer. So it can access our child object can access our particularly y data as well as this, this data can be accessible, and all the property and behavior of our child class will be accessible by our child class object. And what method under the our this object is our print method. So print method is there. So particularly you can see this particularly print method will be there and show method will be there. So see, this is our reference point. So whatever the thing inside this object, it will be accessible by the child. So child can access anything, but our parent can access only this object detail, this object method and this object variable. So this is our so you can see, so this is our child can access our parent data and as well as parent method. Child can called parent. So child have both the accessibility, but our parent class can access only parent related data. So this is about our inheritance. So so you will see under the word the child class, all the property of parent class and behavior means a method will be there. You can access. So this is a syntax directly you can write. So parent class or super class, child class or subclass. So we can access, and one more syntax will be allowable. So you can write one more syntax. So you can create child class object, but you can put this child class object under your parent class reference. So this syntax also allow. So you can put your reference, your child class object under our parent class reference. So either you can put our same class reference, or you can put your parent class reference. So you can put, there is no issue. But so if we talk about our diagram, so your object will be there, but your reference only parent. So object will be created, whole object will be created, entire object will be created, entire object will be created. But your accessibility will be only our parent class related data. So object will be there, entire object will be there. So I am writing our another syntax. So we can write these things like that. So our parent class reference, and you can put your child class. So it will be allowed. So there is no issue. So if you see your right side syntax, so object will be created. There is no issue with the object. Object will be created. Entire object will be created. But your reference variable accessibility only our parent class object only. But information will be created for our child object. So your child is containing parent as well as child related detail, but you cannot access your child related detail, because left side we have taken reference variable of our parent class object. So this syntax also allow, but your accessibility will be only parent class. You can't see your child class related data member or method. So lot of clarity, lot of practice will be required in Java programming language. So you can see show method will be there, but under the right side, what will be happening? Your child class object is created. So our reference will be our parent class or our super class, and object will be your child class or subclass. So entire thing will be created, but you can access only your parent class data, because we are having reference only parent class data. So this thing will be allowable. One more syntax will be there. Can we hold our child class reference and object is a parent class? So this thing will not be allowed. So you cannot refer under our child class reference and holding the parent class. It is not allowed. So this thing will be allowed only. So you will see your object will be there. So you can access your entire object, or you can access the only parent, or you can access both the things with the help of inheritance. So this kind of thing you can see. One more syntax you can write, but it is not allowed. So if you try to write your child class reference will be there, and parent parent class will be there. So it is not allowable. So this syntax is wrong. You cannot write like this. So this is the one syntax. This is another syntax. This is another syntax. So lot of question will be there when we are applying inheritance. We will apply modifier. Lot of thing will be there. So if we are having this kind of syntax, so our object, fully object is created, but we can't access. So what is the meaning of this particularly object detail like yn printer? How we can achieve this information? So if we are creating object like this, and only we can access only parent class data, because it is a we are having only reference of parent class, but we are having all the details. So how we can achieve this information? So in this case we have to apply upcasting and downcasting. So one upcasting downcasting concept is there. So it is our upcasting, we called upcasting when we write this kind of syntax. So we have to be apply downcasting for retrieving detail of our child class detail as well. So we have to apply downcasting concept as well. So before understanding upcasting and downcasting, let's understand about one keyword is called our super keyword. So when we are talk about our inheritance, so understand the how many types we can create the object, and how we can call the data, and our method. So till now just we have created one class. So when our fundamentals and when we have started learning of Java programming, so we have just created one class, because we have to understand about our operators, loop, control statement. But we are learning oops concept. So under the oops we are having some high level programming. So we have to understand all the modifiers up to our inheritance level. So already we have seen something about final abstract. So same thing will be happening again and again. So you have to be understand. So this is our particularly inheritance. So we will apply some modifier, some keywords. So we understand one keyword is called super. So we have seen our object creation. Then we have to see our super. So super keyword is there. So with the help of super keyword, so we can use this super keyword for accessing our parent data in the our child class. So we can use this super keyword. So just understand by example. So we will get it. So one keyword is super. So super keyword will work your inheritance level. If we are having inheritance, then we can use super keyword, and earlier we have seen this keyword. So this will work same object level. This keyword will work same object level. So if we are trying to access anything inside the object, so we are defining some variable and we want to share a particular variable within the same class methods I want to share. So in this case, we have to use this keyword. But if I want to point my superclass keyword or parent class keyword with the help of our in the inheritance level, then we have to use this super keyword. So I write one example, so we will get it. Super will work inheritance level. Keep your mind. So this will work same object level, and super will work up to inheritance level. So we are having class one parent class over there, one child class over there. So what we will do? I am just writing one more class. Inheritance super keyword. We are talk about super keyword. So we are having our parent class and we are having our child class. So we will take one particularly variable int x value is 10, and I am taking same variable int x is equal to 20, and I am applying inheritance. So x variable in parent class, x variable in our child class as well. So we are having these two variable, and I want to create one particularly method. So we will create this show method. So under my logic, I want to access this particularly X data. So how can we write? I will use this and I can use this. So it is a because of it is a same class. So we can access if we put X, if you don't put X, it doesn't matter. So because if you are not putting this keyword, so it will our compiler will add. It will be considered as this. So same class level, it will be considered. So this method, when we will call, so our same data, same object data will be printed. So I will write one test class. So how you can create the object? Create the child class object, because we have to see what is inside our child. So this is my child class object, and I will print this particularly. I will call show method, and we will print whatever the things inside the show method. So value will be there 2020. So 2020 will be within the same class. But what I want to do, I want to access our super class, sorry, our parent class or super class, we can say. There is no issue. So I want to access. So what will be happening? I want to access this parent class data from my child class. So in this case, we have to use this super keyword. So apply super and apply X. So you will see your data will be axis. So super keyword will call our parent class. This will call current class object, and our super will call your parent class object. So you can see, you can understand by the example. So we can create a diagram for that. So we will get it. So again, we have to write our parent class and our child class. So our int x will be there. Int x will be there. Value will be 10. Int so same thing we are having our int x will be there, and we are having show. So our object will be created. So we are having this two particularly property over there. So we are applying inheritance. So when we will create our child class object, so this is our parent, this is our child. So this is our parent, this is our child. So what will be happening? So this is our parent. So we will create the object. So we will create our child class object. So this is our parent class object, and this is our child class object. So you can see. So our x value will be there 10. So this is my x value. So similarly, we are having x value under our child object. So we are having, this is our x value. Value will be 20. So you can see, yeah, 20 value will be there. So we will create the child class object. So we are having a show method inside this particularly object. So I want to access this particular data under this is our parent data. So this is our parent data. So you can see this is our parent data. So I want to access this particularly data inside our child class. So this is my parent class. This is my child class. So parent inside the child, I want to access this data with the help of a particular method. So I will use our this keyword. So this method with the help of this method, we can call our parent class data. So same data will be there if we are applying. So with the help of this, we will access only our object related data, but with the help of super, we can access our parent class data. So we are having this super keyword. So with the help of super, we can access our parent class related detail. So you can see this is our value will be printed, which is our parent class detail. So this will point our same class object, and our super will point our parent class object. So understand this concept. So our child reference will be there. So there will be our child reference. So it will point a particularly whole object. So we can access parent as well as child as well, because we have created child class object. So child will follow this particularly object, and one under our JVM level already one object is there. So our this, so this always point our current object. So while execution, so any object is pointing at the time, so it will call at current moment. So this is a one keyword also there, so we can access. And our one more keyword will be there, one more reference will be there, our super. So if you want to access, so it will work, but one reference variable will be there. So it will point our super class object. So it will point our super class object. So inside the our child class, we can access our super class object detail. So this is the things about our super. Then similarly, we can call our method as well. So let's understand about our method, how we have to call our method. So we have use a particularly variable. So similarly, we can see about our method. So I will create one method as well. So this is our parent class, and we will create our child class. So we are having our parent class method name is consider the show method. So public void show method will be there. So I am just putting this our parent show method. So same method I will write under the our child. So our parent is having same and same method will be under our child class. So what will be happening? So I will try to call up the particularly method. So we are having this show method, and we are having under our parent class, we are having show method. So I will write one more method is called our display method. So I want to call this show method. So I will write this syntax. So it will call our show method within the same class. I can write this syntax as well. So it will call our same class. So our same class method, same class. If we have right, if we haven't right, so this will be there. So particularly this way, this variable will work. Same class method will be called. So I will execute this program. So I will create the object. So I am having, I create the object again. So what I have put on child m. I am commenting our previous example. So you will see first I will call my method is display. So you will see it will call same class method child show, because if you are pointing or you are not pointing, so it will point same class data, same class method. So this will work only same class object detail. But you want to call something about your parent class from child class, so you have to use this super keyword. So parent class will be called. So you can see, so parent class will be called. So this particularly display method, show method will be there in the parent and child. So whenever a parent class method will be called, whenever a child class method will be called. So with the help of this n super, it will call like that. So this thing will be there. So remember one more point. So if we are using this n super keyword, so it will be applicable only non-static method and non-static variable. It won't be applicable for static variable or static method. So this or super won't work for our static content, because it is our inheritance level concept. So we are talking with the object. So our static variable will work our class level. Our loading time will be different. So uh, it won't expect your object level. It will be loaded our while our class is loading. So static content will take memory only one time and loading time. So we cannot use static content with the help of this n super keyword. So we cannot use. So for this and for super, we don't have to access static content. So because static meaning is different, so we have to take care about our reference related things. So with the help of this keyword, we can access static data within the same class. So we have seen, but we don't have to use, we don't have to access static content with the help of reference variable. It is not a good practice. Super, we can't access. Super will work our parent class. So static content we cannot access with the help of super keyword. We can access only non-static content, and we can call only non-static method. So this is things about the super and this keyword. So same thing we have to see at our constructor level. So just I talk about our this. So this is our reference variable. This is our this syntax will work our constructor level and super. So this will point the same class and super will call our parent class. But one rule is there. Super statement, this syntax should be in a first statement. So I just show you, so you will get it. So again, I am writing one class parent constructor. So we are having parent constructor and we are having our child constructor. So write one constructor of our parent. So this is our child constructor. This all of syntax you will face in the interview. Mostly all the question will be happening with the help of inheritance. So your mind will be jumping, lot of small concept will be there. So we are having our child constructor, and we are having our parent constructor. So you have to write your parent constructor. So constructor, why we use constructor? So for instantiation of the object, we use the our constructor. So whenever we want to pass some value while creating the object, because constructor will be invoked whenever object is created. So we want to do some ready-made object will be there. So then we have to use constructor. So constructor will be called whenever object will be created. So whenever object will be created, constructor will be called. This is our parent constructor. This is our parent class. So you can see this is our parent class. This is our child class. So I will create the object of constructor. So just comment our previous example and create the object of our child class. So our method is child constructor. So just we have to create the object. We don't have to access anything. So not required the reference variable. So you will see this is my child constructor is calling. So because we have created child constructor, so we are applying inheritance, and I will call this method again. So you will see parent constructor is calling first, then child constructor is calling. So we are calling our child constructor, but parent constructor is calling. So why this thing happening? So because of super keyword, because of our super keyword, it is happening. Whether you have written or not, our under the our child first statement super will be calling. If you haven't or write, or you haven't haven't write, whether you are ever you have write or you haven't write, it will be call. Super will be call. So super will call your parent class constructor first, then our child constructor will be called. If you will put this super keyword after some statement, so it won't work. It should be always first line. It should be always first line. Super will work whenever when you are super this particularly super will be in our first line, then it will work. So it is calling implicitly. If you are writing, if you are whether we are writing or not, it will be called implicitly. So our particularly super will work under our first line. So this thing will be there. If you put some other line, so it won't work. It should be always in the first line. So we have seen something about the constructor. Then we can write our parameterized constructor. So I am writing one more constructor. So you will write one more constructor is a parameterized constructor. So we will pass some value int x. So our parent constructor value will be there, and we will pass one value x. So and this is our parameterized constructor. So we will call this particularly constructor from our child constructor. So it will call your default constructor. If we don't have any default constructor under parent, so what will be happening? So I will comment this constructor. So my super won't work. We will get error. So because there is no our default constructor, but one parameterized constructor is there. So this thing we can do, but we have to pass some variable because it is our parameterized constructor. So we have to pass some value. If there is no constructor, no default constructor, so we have to pass some value. So it won't work implicitly. So we have to write this syntax. We have to write this syntax in our first line. So it will work. So we will call the method. So it will work. So you can see our value will be printed. So our parameterized constructor will be there and our child constructor will be called. So this thing will work. Otherwise, it won't work. So this is the something about our super. Similarly thing we are having. So under our child constructor, so we are having one default constructor and we are having our parameterized constructor over there. So like we are having, this is my parameterized constructor. I will put one variable. So this is my parameterized constructor. We are having error because implicit super keyword won't work. So because we are having parameterized constructor, so we have to write our super keyword first because it should be in first line. So basically it will be added implicitly, but our default constructor is not there. So we have to add our parameterized constructor in first line. Otherwise we are having some error. Then what we have to do? So first we will call. So this is our syntax for creating the object, but we have to call our parameterized constructor. So as we know, with the help of new, our object will be created, memory will be allocated, but with the help of constructor, object will be instantiated. Something value will be assigned. So we have to pass some value. So I have passed this value. So my child constructor is calling. Under the child super, our parent will be calling. Then child will be calling. So whatever the value we are passing, it will be assigned under our child constructor. But I want call my constructor. This is our constructor inside the class. So I want call a particular constructor. So I can use a particularly this constructor. So this constructor, this syntax should be in first line as well. So our super should be in our first line. Our this should be appear in first line. So this is also in our first line. So this syntax should be in our first line. So if if we want to call same class constructor within the constructor, so we have to use this constructor. And we want to get a variable, so we have to use this keyword. So under the reference variable, so in the first example we have seen, so we have to use a particularly this keyword. So we can achieve within the constructor. So if you can write a particularly constructor. So this is our child constructor. Then you can access this particularly variable, so this and x, so you will get it. So within the same class this will work. You are accessing data, or you are calling the constructor, or you are calling the method, so this will work at our same class level, same object level. But our parent level, our super will work if you want to access our parent level data. So if we are trying to call our super class related constructor, or our child class related constructor, so this keyword we have to use. So this and super both the should be in the our first line. So according to rule, both should be there in first line. So we cannot write these two syntax in the simultaneously within our constructor. Either we can use this syntax, or we can use this syntax only. We cannot put together a particular syntax. So if I will use this in first line, so my same class constructor will be called. So it will work only same class. So both the things will be called by our child class. So you will see my parent is calling. So I just explain what is going on. So I am calling, I am calling my I am calling my this class constructor. So first this will be executed. Then under this particularly we are calling our internal constructor. So our internal constructor is calling, but our internal constructor is calling our parent class constructor because it is having super. So we are getting this particular result by our parent class. Then our this syntax is printing. So our other syntax is our default constructor, and after that this syntax is printing. So keep your mind whether we are putting or we are not putting. Super will be there. If we don't put super, so we will get some error. If we are having, we are not putting super, so one default constructor will be add super. But in the parent, no default constructor. We are having parameterized constructor. So it is a mandatory. This syntax should be there. So always child constructor will try to call a parent class constructor. Always. Directly, indirectly, it will be called parent constructor first, then it will call our constructor, whether you are calling or not. If you are not writing super, then our compiler will add with our super with default. So always this and super will be there. You have to use. So you should know your this is thing about our this and super. So I write one more example and I use both the thing. So we will cover in our single example. So I write one more class and output you have to be expected about output should be there. So under our oops inheritance super and this. So we are having one A class. So we will write one our A class and we will write our B class. And perform inheritance. So we are performing inheritance. So under our A class, we are having one our without parameterized constructor over there. So I am putting our A. Put something. I am putting code Java inside that. So similarly, we will define one more constructor inside our V, putting some advanced Java. So we are having one constructor. So it is our parameterized, sorry, default constructor, and we are defining one parameterized constructor. So whatever we will pass, we will try to print. So same constructor we will define our parameterized constructor. So we write again string s. This type of question you will face. So I am calling this constructor. So my default constructor will be call within the same class. So whenever I will create the object. So whenever object will be created, our constructor will be called. So I will create the object of this B class. So I will put something. I will put something about a test. So our controller will be there. So our this particularly constructor will call first. So our controller will go in the our particularly constructor. So this will be called. Then our controller will go to a particularly constructor. Then inside this syntax, super is there, whether we have written or not. So super will be called. So our parent class constructor will be called. Then After that, our controller will jump into this constructor and this syntax will be printed. Then our controller will jump into the this syntax. So I am creating one. I will creating the object of B class. So we will understand. So this will be called by our child class. So what I will put, I am passing one this our parameterize. So this will call our implicit constructor. So something will be called by our child and something will be called via our implicitly. So whenever a object will be created, our constructor will be called and our child constructor will invoke our parent constructor, and our parent will work implicitly. Then our controller will jump again our child constructor. So I will create the object of this particularly B class. So as we know, whenever object will be created, constructor will be invoked. So I'm not, I don't want to call my default constructor. I will call my parameterized constructor. So I am passing Java double E. So what will be our execution flow? So first, this particular constructor will be called. So this constructor will be called because we are creating the object with the help of parameterized constructor. So our controller will come inside this method. Then this will be called. So this constructor will be called. Under this constructor, super will be there. So whether we have written or not, so default super will be there. Not a parameterized default constructor. Super will be there. So super will call our parent class. So it will go for our parent class. So our parent class constructor will be called under the our parent. So this constructor will be called. So under the our parent, we are pointing our default constructor. So it will invoke implicitly constructor, parameterized constructor. Then our controller will go again this constructor. Then it will go our child related constructor. So our statement will be printing like this. So just you have to be understand. So first Java ME is printed because of this constructor, and after that our core Java is printed. After that our this syntax we are passing the advanced Java. So advanced Java will be printed. Advanced Java will be printed. Then at last we are having uh, printed whatever the things we have passed Java double E. So implicitly this and super are working together. So this is the thing about our super and this. So accordingly you have to be practice. So lot of calling inside that. So there is some concept under our inheritance level. Lot of thing will be there. When we will learn about exception handling, then we have to understand. So this is the thing about our this and super. Apart from that, we are having one more variable is a final. So basically, when we write any method inside the class and we write same method under our child class. So usually we called method overriding. So one final keyword we have already seen, but we have to see again because our how our question will be twist as per the interview. So we have to be understand. So I already told you we will see this thing under oops as well again. So our final value will prevent you. So when we put our final in front of a variable, so we cannot modify the data. But if we put a final keyword in front of method, so we cannot perform override. So just you have to put your final in front of the method. So we are having parent class, we are having child class. So if we are having parent, so I am re-implementing again and under our child class. But I want to prevent. So if I want to prevent, so my child class cannot be changed. This particularly implementation method overridden is should not be allowed. So we will put a final keyword in front of the method. So if you are putting the final in front of the method, so we cannot override the method. So final keyword will work for preventing the our overridden in front of the method. So under the our inheritance level, final keyword will prevent for our particularly method overridden. So if you will put final in front of our method, so it won't be allowed. So I create again our oops concept under our inheritance, final. So we will write something our parent, and we are having child. So we are having parent, we are having child. So put one variable in front of a variable. So int x is equal to 10. So if we are putting the final, so we cannot modify this particularly variable anywhere. So it will be fixed. So we will perform inheritance. Yeah, we are putting under the our parent, and just write one more method, void show. So this is our show method. So this is our uh, parent show method. So just we have written the syntax. So under the child, I am writing a particularly display method. So you can see. So this is our particularly final keyword. So I try to modify so this, and our variable is final int x. So we can access this variable. We have to apply inheritance. So we can access this variable. There is a no issue. Final is fixed. We can access. So earlier we have seen we can access a particularly variable. So we should not have any issue. So we will call the object of our child class. Child class object, and we will call our display method. So value will be printed, no issue, we have seen. But if you try to modify the value, so how you can modify? So this is my value x, and I am trying to modify with 20. So we will get one error. The final field parent text can't be assigned. So under the child, you can't do anything. If you have defined your variable is the final, it will be fixed, it will be freeze. You can't change anything with a final variable. So to under the, if you put on your variable is final, so it will be final. So you can't change in the variable. It will be fixed. So final means it will be final. It will be fixed. So same thing we will try to apply in front of a method. So first we write your show method in the our child class. So we are rewriting the method. So there is no issue. So whenever we are calling this dot show method, so your child show method will be called. Whenever you want to call your parent class method, so parent will be called. So we are having both the accessibility with the of this and with the help of super. We don't have any issue. So if you want to call same class, so you have to use this. If you want to call parent class, so you have to call super. There is no issue. But if I put final in front of our method, so we will get error. So what the meaning? Cannot override the final method from parent. So we cannot perform inheritance. It is not allowed because of final. So we cannot override our parent class method because of the final. So it is not allowed. So this thing will be allowed. This thing won't be allowed. So if your variable is final, you cannot modify. If your variable is method is a final, you cannot perform override. So final means final. So final won't be allowed for your modification. So this is a thing about the your final. And one more thing, it might confuse you in the interview. So we are assigning this particular in particularly variable in the syntax, or you can assign this particularly variable inside the constructor as well. Like you can use this syntax. So at constructor level, you can assign the value. So it will work. So, but you have to provide definition, and you can assign under the our constructor. So only one time value will be assigned, only one time. So whenever we are assigning the value with the help of a constructor, so only one time our memory, sorry, one time value will be assigned. So I will pass this value inside the constructor. So particularly constructor will assign this value only once. So we can assign uh, in this section, or we can assign under the our constructor. There is no issue. So sometimes you might confuse. You will see your final variable is not initialized, but you don't have any compile time error. So in the interview, this question might be there, or in the test. So don't be confused. You can assign only one time. Value will be assigned only one time. So over the syntax, we are just creating the memory, and we are assigning the value whenever object is created. This thing will be happening only one time. After that, you cannot change. So you can see whenever I have put on this syntax, so I am getting error. So I cannot reassign the value. But if I am defining like that, and I am initializing with the help of constructor, so the only one time value will be assigned, and after that you cannot modify. You will get the error. So final keyword is working at your inheritance level. So we have explained again. So then we can see our public, private, protected, as we have seen already. So you can put a public, private, protected in front of method. So as we know, public method, where we can access anywhere. Protected will work with same package or inheritance level, and private will work only within the class only. So this modifier we can use. So our upcoming concept will be polymorphism. So upcoming concept will be our polymorphism. So we will see this thing in our next class. So it is a very important. So our next concept will be polymorphism. So if you talk about our keyword, so protected keyword we use at our inheritance level. So public will allow, we can access anywhere. Private will allow within same method, but protected will work at inheritance level or same package level as well. So basically protected variable, protected keyword is there for accessibility. We have to define it at our inheritance level. So for a data member and for our method. After that, we have to see polymorphism. So lot of concept will be there under our polymorphism. One is our method overloading. Another one is a method overriding. So with the help of method overloading, we will get our static polymorphism. Very important this kind of concept. With the help of method overriding, we will get dynamic polymorphism. So static polymorphism means it will be compile time. When we will compile the program, so we will get the error. And under our dynamic polymorphism, it will be applicable for a runtime. So something will be happening at our runtime. While compile time, we won't know, we can't know anything, but runtime, our controller will jump. So our dynamic polymorphism is a very important. So method overloading, method static polymorphism, compile time, and method overloading will be happening same class level. So like our this work only same class level, so we will achieve our static polymorphism or method overloading in same class level, and method overriding we will see under our parent child relationship, class subclass. So lot of concept will be there again. Inheritance will come again, but we have to see our binding, data binding. So our data binding, our method binding. So we called method overloading and method overriding. All framework are working. Our technology will be working around the dynamic polymorphism. So we will understand this concept. So we are learning same thing again and again, but uh, uh, always a concept will come with new information. So you have to be careful. So we will meet in the next class. Thank you.